Look, man, what LeBron James did to Stephen A. Smith by confronting him at the game about talking about Bronny. It's unprofessional and soft, weak, and embarrassing to NBA, to basketball, and to his family, and to the Lakers. Shout out Stephen A. Smith. I say that because Stephen A. Smith's job is to report on sports, right? LeBron, all throughout your career, you've been talked about. I mean, I don't believe no sports player in the history of sports, any sports, have took more criticism or has been given more hate or love than you. Think about that. You've gotten more love and more hate than any other athlete in sports, period, in the history of sports. Even back in the Roman days, the gladiator days, you've gotten more hate and love at the same time. And you've been able to handle it well. Your son's last name is James Jr. That's Bronny. I don't think he's a junior. He's not a junior. Anyway, he is a part of a sport that Stephen A. has to commentate on. For you to stand up and go to this grown ass man and say, "Stop talking about my son," the other man, you so damn, bro. That was distasteful. That was disgusting to see, bro. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Bronny is playing if I was Stephen A., I'd have been like, boy, you better get the. I'd have been like, YouTube, excuse me for saying this. I'd be like, boy, you better get the fuck out my face. If I slap the fuck out you in front of all these people in this Lakers, in this fucking, boy, you better. What? You said what? If I was Stephen A., that's what I'd have did. I'd be like, boy, you better, what? Man, what's up? What you trying to do? I took my tie off, took my jacket off. What's up, man? What you trying to do? Your son trash, boy. He playing like trash, boy. What's up? What you got going on, bro? I'm telling you, that shit was weak. Like, nigga, he's supposed to talk about, your son is in the NBA, bro. He took the spot of a few other more qualified, a bucket full of more qualified athletes, basketball players that could have been in that spot. Your son did. A big part of it is nepotism, which I don't care about nepotism. It is what it is, but come on, man. And you gonna tell him not to speak on your son? Brian, that shit was weak. But this is one of the reasons why I'm not a LeBron fan, bro. This is one of the reasons why, because, like, now I get it. As a father, ain't no as a father. This is basketball, bro. Tell your son to play better. Tell him to get in the gym. This is basketball, man. I don't want to hear that, man. I was going to say, he's a father, and as a father, no, man, fuck that. This basketball, man. He playing garbage. And if he don't want to play the sport and he don't want to hear that shit, stop playing basketball, man. Go somewhere else and play, man. Ain't nobody gonna talk about you if you ain't in the NBA. If you wasn't in the NBA, would nobody talk about you? I hate that Brian did that. Shit was trash. That shit was weak, man. He was an emotional king, man. That's because of the lack of a father. When you got the lack of a father, man, you see the emotional niggas come out of nowhere, out the woodwork, when they don't have no father growing up. They very emotional. Kevin Durant's very emotional. LeBron James, very emotional. Look at Steph Curry. When they talk bad about him, do you see him out there talking, man, going back and forth on Twitter, all these types of shit? No, you don't see that. What'd you see him do? Come out there and become the greatest shooter that ever lived. That's what you see Steph Curry. We're not going to get to Steph Curry. I talked about him on the last video. He the GOAT. But anyway, yeah, man, that shit was embarrassing, man. Now, I did see somewhere where they said LeBron approaching Stephen A. was a sign of respect. Because everybody talk about Bronny. Everybody. And he never said anything or even approached anybody about that. Like, don't talk about my son like that, Because it's like, whatever. It's like kind of like an umbrella in the rain. It just rolls right off. But with Stephen A., he seen him at the game and came and talked to him face to face. Hey, bruh, stop talking about my... So I do see that as a sign of respect, Stephen A. Like, yeah, you one of them ones, Stephen A. He take what you say to heart. Everybody take what you say to heart. Yeah, that do mean that. That does mean that. It does mean that, yeah, it's a sign of respect that, yeah, Stephen A., you one of them ones, man. But at the same time, it's like Stephen A. just handled that professionally And he did it how he was supposed to do it. Then he went on every interview, every blog site, everywhere, talk about blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Stephen A, bro, at that moment, you was supposed to unbuckle your jacket, take your jacket off, and look that man dead in his eyes. I don't give a fuck how tall he is, and say, hey, man, you get the fuck out my face about what I say about your son, nigga. He's an NBA basketball player, nigga. My job is to report on NBA sports. My job is to report on sports in general. You get the fuck out my face with that shit, man. That nigga trash. That's what I would have did. That's what I would have did. But that's just me.